Hey, welcome to Dynamics Accounting, Finance, and Tips. My name is Jolie. I am super excited about today's presentation. It is Power Automate and Accounts Payable and how just pushing a button can do everything for you when it comes to formatting your vendor statement. So let's talk about this scenario first. Um, this scenario is that we have vendors who send us the same statements every week, every month. It doesn't matter for this scenario, for any scenario, what format the vendors send it in. So what I've done is just create a sample statement, and we're going to take that statement. Power Automate's going to read the columns that we need out of the statement, populate it into a template, the D365 template that we created a few videos ago for Accounts Payable Invoice Journal. It's going to populate automatically the data we need from that statement into that template, email it to another end user who gets notification that they also need to review the invoice and enter it into D365. We're going to do that entire process today. Before we do, I want to tell you my background really quick and why this is so important to me. I come from an accounts payable end user background, and in that world, as an accounts payable end user, I was always trying to stay caught up. And the minute I thought I was caught up, more vendor invoices would come in. And there was specific processes that were happening every single week, the same over and over, and sometimes every month, that I really felt like there was a better way to do things. And specifically, one process was taking me about a half a day to reconcile between our customers and our vendors. And I remember our accounting manager coming in and introducing me to queries and VLOOKUPs, where she just pushed a button or actually hit refresh. And that whole reconciliation that took me half a day or longer was done in a matter of seconds. I started to cry. Ever since then, I have always had the mindset of if this is something I'm doing consistently every week and it's taking me time, how can I do it better? How can I do it faster? Microsoft has given us a free tool, yes, free, within Windows 10. So you don't need admin access to download this. You can go in, search for Power Automate, free download, and get it today on your desktop and start utilizing these flows. They're super easy to set up. So keep in mind, I didn't come from a technology background. I didn't grow up in a technology background. I learned everything kind of just wanting to simplify processes. So that's what I'm bringing you today, and I hope this helps. Let's jump in. So this is just a little bit of a document I'll attach to my YouTube channel that just says about Microsoft Power Automate and how it's a free tool for automating processes, which is exactly what I'm going to show you an example of today. I want to tell you that I've created a folder called vendor statements. I've actually created two folders. One is called let's go back, sorry. One is called vendor statements and one is called vendor statement user 2 because we're going to have two users for this example. One is going to be reviewing the statement. So the vendor sends the statement. The user will open the statement, review it. So here's the vendor statement. And this is just from the vendor. We won't touch it. We won't have to do anything with that data. This is where an end user will go in and need to code where we need these invoices to go to. And for this example, it's a one-to-one relationship. So one vendor, one invoice, one amount due, one coding. That is all that this user would have to do. That is the only manual intervention. Now, what they'll do now is they'll run the Power Automate. They will go to their Power Automate flow and they will hit this run button. So the email has come over. I'm going to share that with you. I have created this email in my flow and it has an attachment. I'm not even going to touch this. So this is the second user. So the second user has got this. When they receive this email, they can run their flow. They don't even have to touch their email. That flow will take that attachment and put it into a folder for them. And we will see it here under user 2. And when we open this up, It is fully configured exactly the way we need it for our D365 invoice journal. So now we'll go to New, AP Invoice, Journal. And now we're going to open up Lines. This will be the new journal template that we created a few videos ago. We're going to enable edit, and again, you'd have to sign in for the first time. Only one time. If you've signed in before, you'll automatically sign in. Now that we're data refreshed, we just simply take the data from the file and we copy and we paste. That's it. We publish. Now there's 100 invoices here. So it's probably going to take about 30 seconds to publish 100 invoices into the system. It's about done. It's refreshing. It's writing. It updated, data refreshed. We can go back into D365, go to our lines, and here is all of our invoices. If we total the columns, it's the same amount as our statement. We could double check. We can attach the statement if we need to. We've got the invoice. We've got the posting date. Now, I did not put a posting date here, and that is for a purpose. Because if you change your sessions date, so I will drop a video about sessions date. So say if it's a month end and you need this date to be 7/31 and you don't want to have to pre-populate the date here, I'm going to show you how to do that in a separate video. It's going to be called monthly session, change session date or something like that. Okay, so let's jump into how I created this in Power Automate. It took me about 20 minutes to set up. Once you set it up once, you can use the same kind of setup for all your vendors. I only recommend that you create new folders for each vendor. Okay, let's jump in how to set it up. So vendor statement, let's open that up. This was the one that had quite a few steps. It's got 20 steps altogether that it does. The first step we do is we launch Excel. So we say, open up the vendor statement. That's pretty cut and dry. Launch Excel and open the following document. Then we go search for this one's the template. I'm sorry. This is the actual template. So if we go to our folder, we want to open up this D365 template. This is the template. I'll just open this up too really quick. And this is what we created the other day. These are kind of stagnant, always have to have these same fields. So I kind of left those in my template. And I'm going to close this as we don't need it anymore. And then I created a folder that says ready to import and archive. And then here's the vendor statement. Okay, so we're telling it just to open it up. Open up this template and open up the vendor statement in these. Pretty simple. What you do is you go over here to Excel and you search for Launch Excel, and then you just drag and drop it over, and then it'll prompt you. So Launch Excel, pretty easy. Now, because we've launched these Excels, they've kind of renamed these. So if you'll see, it has renamed this Excel instance. And so that's our statement, our statement template. And then Excel instance 2, which is the actual vendor statement. Now we're going to read from the Excel worksheet. So let's open up this. We're going to read from Excel 2. So we're going to read from the customer statement, column B, starting row 2. And then I said end column is also B, and we'll just end 999. You have to have something here. I don't think you're going to have 1,000 email overweight. 100,000, 10,000, 10,000 invoices. But if you do, you can always change this. Um, and there, so if we go back to our customer statement, we want it to read column B, and we want to put it in invoice number, which is column H. So that is simply all we're doing. Read and write. So read from the statement, Excel Instant 2, and write to the Excel instance, the template, and write directly to column H, row 12 on the specific cell. Super easy. And then I simply copied these down and then just changed the column and rows that I was looking at so that I could say on each one of these, look at, let's just do column E. We want to take that balance due, or you can do invoice amount, whichever. You can pull in as much data as you need and say, give me column E and put it in column L. And so let's go back and we said here, look at column E and put it in column L. That is simply all these formulas are doing. Then when it's populated all of that data into those columns like we've asked it to, then I said close Excel, close that file and save it as. So what I did is I found close Excel over here and I just brought it over. And then I changed this to save as, so you could just close it if you need to. So for example, on the statement, I didn't need to save it, so I just closed it. So, but on this, I need to save it because I've put some data in there. So when I closed it, I saved it and I saved it to ready to import folder. So we can go here and I can tell you that I saved it to ready to import. And I named it D365 Data Connector Vendor Invoice. You can name it whatever you'd like. And then this action, I said close Excel. This was just me saying do not save and just close that Excel instance 2, which is the statement. Then I'm launching Outlook. So I go down here to Outlook and I just drag launch Outlook because I want to open Outlook. And then I want to send an email message. So I simply dragged this email. Oh, see, I got confused. But this is what it looks like. So I'm going to walk through everything with you here. So I launched Outlook and then I wanted to send an email message through Outlook. And so the Outlook instance is what you created in the launch Outlook. The account is your account. And then this will be, again, account. And then who you want to send the email to. You can copy or blind copy. The new subject, and this is really important, new AP invoice ready to enter, and I'll show you when we get to the second end user. And then again, you can type in whatever you like here. I said, hello, the vendor statement is now ready to enter into D365. Please confirm financial dimensions in column P, because that's really the only thing they need to confirm. Thank you for all you do. And then I told it to go into the ready to import and grab that file. And I hit save. After I did that and sent that email out, I wanted to move and rename that file. And so I moved that file. Oh, let me show you how I did that. I just went up here to File, and I said Move File, and I dragged it over here, and then it'll prompt for this, and I said Files to Move, which was the file that we created. Let me open it here. So we created this file ready to import. So I said, give me the file that's ready. It's in here. It's going to be named the D365 Data Connector because we saved it as this, and then put it in this archive folder. If a file already exists, overwrite. And then I had it rename that file. So I went up here and just pulled in rename. And I said, take that file that's called D365 Data Connector Vendor Invoice and add the date and time to it and override if it already exists. And I hit save. So if we go to that folder right now, we will see an archive folder with the date and time of when we ran this last flow. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so that's the big flow or semi-big flow. You can keep adding functionality all over the place. I mean, it's just an amazing function. And then so it does all of that with just the push of a button. And then the second part, when the email comes to the second user gets her email and says, "Oh, okay, let me go ahead and run my flow on my desktop, which is this one, and let's open up her vendor flow or his vendor flow." And I'm launching Outlook again, and I want to retrieve the email attachment from Outlook. So launch Outlook was pretty easy. Retrieve email messages. So Outlook Instant is the instance we just launched. The account, again, my account. The inbox, so the folder that I want to look for the subject that says new AP invoice ready to enter. But you have a lot of options here. If the email comes from a certain person, you could whatever attachments are there, you could save it or you can save the entire email. It's totally up to you. For this example, I said anything that says new AP invoice ready to enter, save that attachment in this folder. Then, when she hits that button, when she's ready, she can go into her folder and she has her file. And this is where she would copy and paste into D365. There's so much we could do with this, but this is a kind of an out-of-the-box, simple way to take some minutes, some seconds, some hours. Use this whatever way simplifies processes. I am open for comments. If you would like to see something different created in a flow, let me know. I'm up for the challenge. I love I love helping others save time. So if you see something that you've been doing and you're like, there's got to be a better way, there is. Let's figure it out together. So glad you joined. If you like this video, please subscribe. Please share with your friends. Um, please comment any ideas and mahalo.